What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Burnout Brighter podcast. My name is Matt. I'll be your host for this evening's events. This is going to be episode 93. As always, I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Destiny.
Hey.
And Darren.
Hello.
I change this literally every single time.
There's
no regularity to it.
I just feel like you need to put us in the same spot all the time.
Yes, but then I'm going to forget anyway, so we're going to keep running with this. But
right.
On this week's show, we are very, very excited because we have one of the coolest voices in gaming, a Dragon Ball super fan, a God of War. He just destroyed it, platinumed the crap out of it. From one of my favorite podcasts, coming to us from across the pond, we have Andy joining us from the Streamcast. Andy, how's it going?
I'm doing well, especially after that introduction. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no worries, man. So actually, we met because of Mr. Midas, a mutual friend, and he gives the most hypest intro, so that's something that I've kind of taken from his stylings. I was like, I need to hype the guests up. So thank you so much for joining us. If somebody didn't know who you were or where to find you, can you tell us a little bit about you, your podcast, and everything that you guys are doing?
Yeah, sure. First of all, I want to give a huge shout out to Mr. Midas. He's an absolutely cool guy. And I just want to say, he did put us into contact with each other. And I'm a big fan of your podcast. So basically, I am one quarter of Streamcast, which is a Black-owned UK gaming platform. We're independent. And like the name suggests, we deliver live streams, we deliver podcasts, we deliver a lot of gaming content that's just a bit out there. For example, we covered how accessibility in gaming have really become quite mainstream in the last few years in the UK. Mm-hmm. And we also cover the beginnings of indie gaming also in the UK. So we do a lot of gaming commentary and content.
Nice.
That's amazing, man. And if people wanted to find your content, where can they find you guys?
Twitter and Instagram is Streamcast_. If you'd like to follow us on Twitch, that's Streamcast TV. And our YouTube is Streamcast. So youtube.com/Streamcast will take you to our YouTube. And we also do podcasts as well. So Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, we're probably there. Just search Streamcast. You can't miss the logos, the red squiggly S.
Go, D.
No, you go.
No, you go.
Okay. I just wanted to say that I checked out one of the podcasts and it was this. I checked out a few of them, but my favorite one is where you were playing some game with Mr. Midas and you were calling off words and he had to connect them to a game. And at some point you said Drake and he was rapper. He was so confident, and you and the other guy were no, Nathan Drake. Okay.
Yeah, that was a ton of fun. Yeah, he's been one of the best guests we've ever had, and he just flipped the script on us. So I've learned things from him that I don't think he expected for me to pick up, and he's really cool.
Yeah, he's fantastic. So Midas, I know you're going to be listening at some point. He's been dealing with some health stuff lately, so everybody please go hit up his channel. If you've watched the videos, watch him again. We don't want that YouTube algorithm to fuck him over, so go check out his content, subscribe. He's an amazing, amazing creator, and he's been a valuable friend to all of us, so Go check out his stuff and feel better quickly, man. We know you will. And also, Andy, what I wanted to say is your logo is so clean. It's so nice. The Streamcast logo, every time I'm looking for it, I'm like, boom, it's so easy. It's so beautiful. You guys have done an amazing job on it.
Thank you. That was part of the plan, just to make it simple, bold colors to pop out. We basically went for the YouTube color scheme.
Yeah, and you guys also just hit 50 episodes on the podcast. Something else to celebrate.
Yes.
So
congratulations!
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Yeah. Please go check out everything Andy does at Streamcast. You're going to find a ton of stuff there. But this episode is going to be about a whole bunch of different stuff. We are going to be talking about how to make a podcast, what goes on behind the scenes, some beginner tips and tricks that we've learned along the way, along with talking about a whole bunch of news, something along the lines of Palia, one of the two has been announced, Guerrilla Collective, Team Asobi, and even more. So get ready for all of that. But we're going to start this episode, as we always do, with a round of random questions. And as is tradition, whenever we have a new guest on, we like to throw them right under the bus and have them make us ask us questions without giving them much time to prepare. But
I'm going to ask Andy a question first.
No,
Andy.
sorry. Wait, before you
Whoa,
ask
whoa,
Andy
whoa,
a
get-
question,
Whoa.
this is important.
This is a first.
You keep calling him Andy, all right? I don't think he really
Oh my
goes
god.
by Andy
Oh my god, you're right.
on his podcast.
That's right. That's my mistake. Something that we're doing today. Thank you, Darren, for correcting me on
Thanks,
this.
Darren.
Yeah.
But my name's
Something
not
that we're going to be
Darren.
doing
I'm
today.
sorry. My name.
Okay.
I
Alphino.
actually forgot what your name was, and it's hard to pronounce. You picked like the hardest like code names. It's ridiculous.
My name is
One of
Alphinode.
our favorite.
He's my boy
Alphinode,
from
okay.
Final Fantasy 14 Online. He's the best boy,
Ooh.
and now he's
Oh
mine.
my god, that makes so much sense. Okay.
I'm just going to call you Alf, and in my mind, you're
Yeah.
that puppet from that 80s show.
Oh my god, that is the best show. I'm gonna call you Alfie because that's like
That's-
cuter.
So
Not what I
something that
intended, but
Streamcast
okay.
does every week, they have code names that they bring onto themselves, and Darren has gone ahead and Alfie has gone ahead and told us his code name for this week's
Thank you.
podcast.
Alfie.
Destiny, what's your code name this week?
Luca, and it's from the character in Chrono Trigger.
Character,
Nice.
Chrono Trigger, Luca. Myself, I'm going to be Dionysus, based on one of my favorite personas, because
I'm just gonna call you
the God of
Dio.
Wine. That's also cool. I'm okay with that. Andy, aka Blackamura, aka what is it this time?
Guts from Berserk.
Ooh,
Guts?
nice.
Yeah.
You see how easy that is? You two are ridiculous.
Hey, I was
I've
going
had
to
a
call
bit of
myself the
practice.
Warrior of Light at one point, so you'd be happy I picked a one-word name.
I think the Warrior of Light is hilarious because you're like not all light and you're usually kind of dark. So
I could be the
But
Warrior of
yeah.
Darkness, too. That's fair.
Alfie and Dio. Perfect.
So we
Okay.
have Alfie, we have Luca, we have Guts, and we have Dionysus, aka the God of Wine, aka
Oh God,
the
get
Lance
over
of
yourself.
Persona. The full name, please. I'd like the full title included anytime anybody has to reference me. Moving on to the random questions. Guts, Andy, Blackamura. If I wanted to ask you a random question that I have definitely not prepared for, and it's something that I think you'll be knowledgeable about and give me a good answer.
You would think he would at least prepare the questions for the guest. Like you would
Never.
think.
Never.
You
It
would
breaks
think.
the spirit of it.
Okay.
If you could take any anime property, because I know you're a big anime guy, which is something I really respect about you.
Mhm.
If you could take any anime property that doesn't have like a massive game already, so none of the DBZ Budokai stuff, even though yes, you picked Budokai 3 as one of your favorite games ever. Hell yes, by the way. If you
You've
could
done
take
your research, I really appreciate this.
right. So nothing
Matt's a
DBZ
stalker.
related.
Okay.
Nothing DBZ related. Take an anime that hasn't gotten a good video game treatment. Tell me the studio you want to give them the property to and what the game is going to look like. See what happens when I don't think, Destiny?
You
That's a good question,
sometimes,
though.
like 2% of the time, come up with a good question.
Oh, that's a great question.
Thank you.
So there's like a three-way tie in my head.
Give us all of
between
them.
One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, and
Uh-huh.
Yu Yu Hakusho.
Okay.
And
Nice.
basically, my vision for all those games are the same. They'd be like a fighting game, and I'd give it to Arxis because they are amazing.
Nice.
They've taken many different properties and just made such a complex fighting game. Yeah.
That would
Arxis is
be
probably the
dope, 'cause-
only company that I would trust to do that as well. Like they're the only
Yeah.
ones that seem to like effectively translate those things.
Yeah, I think because we have actually had like a proper 2D One Piece fighting game, which is kind of wild given how massive the property is. So I
Yeah.
think that's a great call. There's also rumors that they're apparently working on a My Hero Academia fighting game, which if they are, hell yes.
Yep, I pre-ordered that.
Yeah, right away. All right,
Yeah.
Andy, now it's our turn to throw you under the bus. You got Darren, no, you got Alfie, you got Luca, and you got Dionysus, the God of Wine, and Matt's favorite Persona character.
Oh my god.
Who do you want to start with, and what do you want to ask them?
I'm not gonna remember all of that. So, okay, I'll go with Luca.
Okay.
And my question is, hopefully this hasn't come up already because that would be embarrassing. But if you were to be banished to a fictional world and you would have the powers of people in that world, which world would you pick? For example, you could pick Harry Potter and you'd be a wizard.
That's a really good question. I feel like we've
That-
had a similar question, but it was like a game world
Yeah.
that we had to pick. You know what? I just finished watching Carol and Tuesday, the anime by the same creator of Cowboy Bebop. So I know it's like kind of like generic, but I think I'd really like to live on Mars.
Oh,
Awesome.
so you have
Does
the
that
power
anime
of
take
space
place
dust?
on Mars?
The city is on Mars, yeah, because like Earth has basically been fucked over, but it doesn't like really focus on that or like be in like the Cowboy Bebop world, because that's like one of my favorite animes ever. So
That's a great anime.
Yeah.
That's a great shout.
Yeah.
Both of those sound dope. I did not know Carol and Tuesday happens on Mars. Everything I've seen like previews for that show is about like music and stuff, and you're an amazing singer, so you'd fit in perfectly.
right? Oh my
Yeah.
god, like it's so good. I'm obsessed right now with the rapper Denzel Curry, because he like is one of the characters on there.
Perfect. Andy, great. No, not Andy. Damn it. Guts, great job with the first question.
Yeah,
that's
Luca.
good.
Good answer. Who's next? Are you asking Alfie or Dionysus, the god of wine, and Matt's favorite persona?
Stop wasting time saying that entire name. Jesus.
Okay, I'll go for Dionysus, god of wine, and Matt's favorite persona character. Did I get
Yes,
that right?
man. Yes.
Now, my question is going to be a bit more narrow here.
Okay.
So we've heard for like 17 years that there's going to be a new Switch.
Mhm.
So my question to you,
Yeah.
my question to you is, you are head designer of the Switch Pro. What new things are you adding to this great console?
Okay, I like the question. If I had free reign to do whatever I wanted with the Switch Pro, I would want to give it, and I know there's issues with it and stuff, but I would want an OLED screen. I love my Vita. I love my Vita so much, the OG one, and the colors and everything off that screen are beautiful, so I'd give it an OLED screen. I would make it a little bit bigger, not a lot, just like a little bit. Like I want the screen just to be a little bit bigger. The controllers can stay the same size. It's going to look a little weird, but I think it will work. I want Bluetooth compatibility so badly. I want to be able to use my Bluetooth headphones with that stupid system and not have to carry wired headphones in my Switch case with me everywhere that I go whenever I take it around. And
Yeah.
I think those would be my biggest things. I would also like to rework the UI and just make it a little nicer. I want some folders and stuff like that. I want that system to be, it doesn't have to be a lot more powerful. I'm never going to use it for my third party stuff, but if it's going to make Nintendo games run better, then I'm happy. Make it bigger, give me that OLED, give me fucking Bluetooth and just let me play games that look great. And then I'd also want like the back of the console to be partially like customizable. Like I love what Sony's doing with the shell on the PS5. If I could somehow pop that off and stick a new shell on, I mean, we're still not seeing Sony make full use of it, but I hope one day we do. I'd love for it to give me that kind of thing, because like as much controller variation with the colors and stuff you can have, let me mess with the Switch a little bit too. And that would be Dionysus, the god of wine, and Matt's favorite personas, Switch Pro.
Oh my god.
Awesome. I really like
I'm
that
gonna
Bluetooth
run-
You're
answer.
killing me. You are killing me.
I can see that. I'm gonna run this into the ground.
Jesus. But don't they have like skins for the Switch that you can change out, not just the controllers?
Yeah, but those are like sticker sets and stuff. It's not really, or you have to like customize the shell.
So
I'd want
you want
something
to
that I can just
actually
kind of
take
pop
the shell off?
Yeah,
Oh,
just like the
okay.
back. I don't need to take the whole thing off. Yeah. All right, Guts, you're 2 for 2. One last random question over to Alfie, aka Alpha Nod, aka Darren.
Shut up, Matt. Okay, go with your question.
Alf, if you could combine any two fictional characters,
Ooh,
which two would you pick, and what is their combined name?
I
Oh my
love this.
God. Where are they
I love
combining?
this.
Perfect. Where
like,
are they combining?
What-
What did you say?
This isn't like a
What are you
cat dog
talking
situation. We're not like
about?
gluing them
Sorry.
together.
That's so. Okay.
For
I'm combining
argument's sake, yeah.
Okay.
Like maybe personalities. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah, just to make like a
personality,
better,
Yeah.
stronger
He
character.
said, where are
Yeah.
they combining?
Like if you have
right?
like Goten and Trunks fused to make Gotenks.
right, like half of them.
They're fusing
Half looks
at
like
the
Trunks.
knees to make them completely immobile. But first, I also
I
Oh
never-
my God.
I
I've
never expected that response to that
Yeah.
question.
Right?
This is
no,
good.
no,
Like,
no,
where
no.
are they fusing?
No, so okay, I'll give a good answer, but also I want to say like in your podcast, Andy, like you don't really have to say your code
Wait,
names
what
that
did you just
often.
call him?
Guts. You don't have to say the code names that often. Like I'm immediately regretting bringing up this as an idea as an homage
Yeah.
to Streamcast because I know how much Dionysus, the god of wine and Matt's favorite Persona character, will run this
Yes!
into the ground. This is just gonna be
Stop
the whole
doing
podcast.
it! Stop
It
egging
does
him
roll off the
on.
tongue,
You
though.
both are terrible
does.
at this.
It
Thank
does. It
you.
rolls
Stop
off the
Stop
tongue
it.
really well. Okay, so if I want to combine two characters into one super character, that's just better than everyone, it probably looking around my room for inspiration. It would be. God damn it! Now I'm just thinking of freaking Trunks and Goten or whatever we
Goten.
said being fused. I don't know, man. All right, I was never a Dragon Ball Z
Darren,
fan
you
growing
play
up.
so many games. There has to be two characters that you really like that you could put together.
There are.
So, for
but
example-
I'm trying to find like the optimal, perfect answer here.
Oh my God.
Like,
Okay.
if
For
you put
example,
Mario. Okay, go.
No, you go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say.
If you put Mario and Peach together and call them Meech, will
God.
Bowser both kidnap them and they have to save themselves?
I mean, like, would it be like a male or a female, or is this now a hermaphrodite situation? Like, what is going on?
I don't
I
know. I
know.
didn't think about it that far.
I
Yeah,
know.
you
I
got to
know.
think about
Darren?
it completely. Go, Darren. What?
I am fusing Kirby
Okay.
and
Yoshi?
I lost it.
Okay.
Okay,
You said
Kirby.
that so definitively.
Kirby and Captain Falcon. There we go.
Oh,
Kirby and Captain
okay.
Falcon.
Okay.
Because Kirby is already the like most powerful being in the universe essentially. If you've ever gotten deep into the Kirby lore, he is basically a god that can never be killed.
Mhm.
There's a reason why Kirby's the only one that survives at the beginning of the World of Light in Smash Ultimate. If I combine him with Captain Falcon, not only is he power-wise the ultimate life form, but physique-wise, he will now also be the ultimate life form. Because I'm picturing Kirby with full-on muscle body, six-pack abs, huge biceps, just a god among men. He will
So he
now
look
be the
like that weird guy on Dragon Ball Z who's pink and muscled. What's his name?
Yeah, boo.
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 That's what I'm picturing right now. Is Boo.
Damn it.
He does suck stuff in too. And
You
like
just
take
made
his powers.
Boo.
I just reinvented
I
a Dragon Ball
think
Z
it's-
character.
Yes.
We'll take it though, Darren.
Yeah,
We'll-
yeah. Good
It's a
job.
great
Good job.
answer.
Yeah. Darren, I'll let you stew on it, and for the first time ever, we'll come back to this question at the end
No.
of the podcast, and I'll give you an opportunity. Okay, never mind.
Please don't come back to me.
Let's
I don't deserve a second chance.
let's move on. Guts, aka Andy, aka Blackamura. What's new? The next. Oh no, sorry. Before we go into what's new, every time we have a new guest on, we always like to talk about a game that matters to them. Either a game that has helped them through a tough time in their lives, or a game that was there for them when other things weren't. Can you tell us a little bit about a game that matters to you?
Yeah. I guess the first one that came into my head was God of War 3. So that was, I don't know, 10, 20 years ago now.
Oh
So
my god. It's so
um,
long. I'm too
sorry.
old now.
So I would have been about 15, 16. And yeah, going through college, I wasn't really didn't really feel like I fit in anywhere. Had a lot of people that I knew, but I didn't really feel like I had that many friends. And yeah, there were some really tough days during college. So my escape was games, and some people like RPGs, some people like other stuff, but I really like violent games, especially at that time. So God of War 3 allowed me to just escape and be as violent as I wanted to be, and it didn't mean anything because I wasn't actually hurting anyone, and I think that was why it was so magical to me.
I like how you put that preface on there. Like, I'm not like a serial killer or anything.
No,
I like the names.
Yeah, it was really fun, and when I played it again a few years later, I really came to understand what the game meant. It had quite a fun story, and it makes more sense with the other games that have come before it. Because a lot of games are like standalone games, and they're in a long series of games, but this was like a story, and a story told over 5 games, and once you deep it, it's quite moving. And yeah, that's why that's the game that matters to me.
Awesome, man. Thank you. Yeah,
that's a good choice.
It is a
Really
great
good answer.
choice, especially because like in a situation where you're frustrated, and especially college can be tough. There's a lot of late nights and stuff, and using that as an outlet, that's a great way to do it. So thank you for telling us about a game that matters to you. Now let's talk about what's new. Darren, I'm going to throw to you first this time, just because, just to change things up a little bit. Alfie, what's new? What's been going on?
So, because we're getting ready for E3 and stuff like that, I haven't had a lot of time to play games. I am starting to play Blasphemous, but I think I'm going to save that for the next podcast because I'm just at the beginning and I don't really have a ton of impressions for it yet. What I will say is, have all of you heard of the game Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines?
Yeah.
Pretty sure, yes.
So, yeah, that was based off of a tabletop game, Vampire the Masquerade. So, I am a big tabletop gamer. I love Dungeons & Dragons, and one of my friends is starting their own campaign, or I think they've already started it, and they're kind of just, like, reintroducing people, but they invited me to join their Vampire the Masquerade tabletop game session, and I am in character creation mode right now, and I am trying to think of what is the dumbest character I can make. Because whenever I play a tabletop game, I'm always trying to do like the opposite of the intention of the game, just because I think that's fun for some reason, because I like destroying things. So Vampire the Masquerade is a very kind of like dark environment. It's vampires, it's brooding, it's a very hot topic. And one of the classes you can play is a Malkavian. Okay, and Malkavians are known for psychosis that they have. They have kind of weird psychotic premonitions and issues that manifest in weird ways. So what I have settled on is the character that I'm going to play is a Malkavian office worker. I'm an unpaid office intern who drinks blood like it's Soylent. And I'm just having my like liquid blood to get me through the night shift. And my psychosis is I don't believe that vampires are real.
Can you please have like too many belts and or chains as part of your outfit?
At the office? No, he has to be a regular dude.
Yeah, see, I'm gonna be wearing just like the whitest office worker clothes you could possibly think of, like khakis and like a button down, and I'm just trying to get through the work week. And then if I see someone outside who's a vampire that's like sucking the blood of somebody, my psychosis is just like, oh, it's probably just like a mouth-based vending machine or something like that. Like
a mouth-based vending machine.
Like I cannot see the supernatural. I cannot see vampires. Like my brain will just rationalize that it's something totally normal.
So like, what do you think you're drinking when you drink blood? Like,
Soylent.
What is that?
Soylent.
I think it's Soylent. It's like the like energy, well,
red
like
Soylent.
The meal replacement.
I also liked that instead of going to like, it's like they're eating a sandwich or drinking some Soylent, you went to mouth-based vending machine.
Yeah.
as a
That
descriptor.
was really
It's like, yeah, I just think
interesting.
they're eating a sandwich. But they're like, no,
Or
they're
it's
just
a water
sucking face.
or water fountain. I guess I could call it a water fountain. That works too.
Yeah, that's
But
better.
okay, that works.
Yeah.
But that's what
All
I've
right,
been up to.
Darren. Nice. That's awesome. Andy, aka Guts, what about you? What's been new? What's been going on lately?
Not been playing too many games recently, which is sad. But I've gotten into
Mhm.
Final Fantasy VII Remake finally.
Nice.
It's been like an entire
Nice.
year. I've been waiting so long to play it, and it's really fun. I'm really enjoying myself. I think I'm only 5-ish hours in, so yeah, I still have a lot to uncover. But I'm
Mhm.
familiar with the previous game.
Yeah.
Also been playing quite a lot of Mario Kart 8 and Smash Ultimate,
Nice.
and I think that's about it. Oh, we just finished Resident Evil Village as well. Really enjoyed that game.
Oh, you like that one? What did you
Nice.
think of it?
I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I saw a lot of people complaining about the length of the campaign, but I thought that was fine. Less is more if the quality in there is better.
Hmm. So, for Smash Ultimate, I have to ask, who's your main?
It changes.
Top 3.
Sephiroth,
Uh,
Nice.
Cloud,
Yes.
Yeah.
and Young Link.
Ooh,
Nice.
interesting.
Okay. I like all of those.
That is a
I
solid lineup.
hate that
Thank you.
game, but I like the characters.
Yeah,
That was
Cloud
such a
is
fun
one.
game.
Cloud is one of my go-tos as well. So that's dope. He's so good. He's so heavy, but he's so fast.
Yeah, I'm not good with him, but I just appreciate his design and his attack. So
Yeah,
try.
he's really well done. And for Final Fantasy, are you playing PS4, PS5? Where are you playing?
PS4. I
Nice.
tried to play on PS5 and it took too long, so I just scrapped it.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, it's gonna be a long one. We have Intergrade right around the corner too, so it's a
I
good time
can't
to
wait
jump
for
in.
that. Yes.
It's a great time to jump in. Destiny, what about you? What's new? I'm sorry,
Um,
I mean Luca.
No, you can call me by my normal name because I feel like that's shorter than like the tangent you go on when you say your name.
Yeah.
I've been working on redesigning our logo. I've been talking to James about animating, like what I want to animate for our logo. I've been watching some gameplay of Yomari, which is like, it's really cute, but it's basically like this girl who's like looking for her sister in a haunted Japanese town.
Okay.
Interesting.
And then there's like a second version where it's like another girl. They're all based on like girls and these haunted Japanese towns. Like some of the stuff is like really trippy. Like there are a couple of jump scares. But yeah, I've been doing that, and I've been taking classes and reacquainting myself with Illustrator
Nice.
so that I can like make business
Ooh.
cards and stuff for us. Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope.
Thank
And
you,
yeah, get ready for
Destiny.
new logos and stuff in a little while. You
Yeah.
also mentioned Carol and Tuesday, right? What about Carol and Tuesday has
Oh,
jumped out so much
yeah.
for you?
Dude, like that was such a good anime. It was such a very like chill anime, and the music is good. I feel like he always gets like really amazing music for his animes. Like Cowboy Bebop soundtrack is fucking phenomenal. Like it's like classic. And what I really liked about Carol and Tuesday is that they used like, I don't know if you guys know who Thundercat is. Do you know who that is? The
Yes,
musician?
love Thundercat.
He's in it. Like Denzel Curry has an amazing fucking rap in it. And I discovered a lot of new just musicians listening or watching the anime, and they're all like really phenomenal. Like I liked all of the songs and all of the music. So I would suggest that you guys watch it if you ever have some time. It's not action based or anything like that. It's nothing like Cowboy Bebop, but like for what it is, it's good. So,
Yeah, it's been on my watch list for a while. It looks really, really interesting, and the
I
animation
think
looks beautiful.
Senna would really like it.
Yeah,
I think
maybe I'll
Senna would really
maybe I'll
like
give it a watch with her.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Matt,
Just
There we go.
what are you been up to, Matt? I'm Matt. Matt, what have you
why
been up to?
Dio or Dio?
That's all
Matt,
you're
if you
getting.
don't
Oh,
fucking
no.
answer this question.
Yeah.
I also, because of E3 stuff, and we've been recording a lot lately, haven't played too much lately, but I did finish Mass Effect 1 and I'm now into Mass Effect 2, and like, man, that game just comes out the gate swinging. Like, it has such a huge opening, and like it hasn't really slowed down at all. The new characters seem interesting. The game itself just feels a lot better. Like, you really feel that like Uncharted 1 to Uncharted 2-esque jump in terms of quality and the way that they put things together. I'm only like probably 4 or 5 hours in, so not deep enough just yet, but I have been really enjoying it. I have also started to get a little bit addicted to a game called Rhythm Hive, which is a mobile rhythm game, where it's pretty much only BTS stuff, and you get to like get cards and play the songs, and it's actually pretty fun. So I've been having fun with that. And I came across another Gintama clip the other day on Reddit, which is like, that's my favorite anime of all time. And one of the comments was talking about how good the Grand Blue manga was, so I started reading that as well. And it's been pretty funny so far. A lot of people say that the first season of the anime is fine, like it's not great, it's not as good as the manga. So I've jumped into that as well. So that's kind of what I've been up to. I'm going to be playing Operation Tango in the next couple days to check that out as well, which is that new PS5 Plus game.
Yeah.
Where like you have to play a co-op, and like somebody's a spy and somebody's a hacker. So I'll talk more about that next week once I actually get a chance to jump into it properly. But that looks fun, so I'm curious to check that out as well. But
You know what I forgot? Like, we all forgot to mention that, like, we watched the Gorilla Collective,
Oh yeah, we
and
did
that
that
we
too.
watched, yeah, Black
I
versus
had that
Green
in
Gaming.
news.
It doesn't matter. That's also, we did that together. We rarely do anything like together.
That's true.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you're curious about the videos for Gorilla Collective and Black Voices Gaming, go check out our YouTube. We've got post shows for you there, talking all about what happened and some of the stuff that we were most excited about. There is another high school game, and I'm already all over it.
Yeah.
But let's get into our main topic. One of the reasons that we brought Andy on, besides just being a wonderful person and a fantastic personality, is because he also runs his own podcast. We wanted to talk about a little bit about kind of what goes into making a show. We realized we never really talked about it. So, Andy, what I want to start with asking you is, why did you start the Streamcast? Like, where did the idea come about, and kind of how did you take your first steps into the space?
Those are really good questions. I haven't been asked those in a while. So the reason why I wanted to make Streamcast a thing, or to have some sort of brand, basically underrepresentation. So there are so many great minds out there who love games, and we don't see them, whether it's on screen on YouTube or whether it's presenting a show. We don't see them, especially in the UK. I can't remember what the values are, but we make up such a minuscule amount of people. And in my teen years, there was only one real Black content creator from the UK, and that was KSI. So we wanted to kind of differentiate ourselves from that and kind of do something else a bit more independent, a bit more natural. I don't know if that's the right word, but like, just
Sure.
We wanted to just be ourselves, but have a camera up. So that was why this whole thing was created. And yeah, I guess I needed someone I could trust. I needed someone I knew for a long time, who I knew had energy, who I knew was knowledgeable, and Isaac is the guy for me. I approached him.
Bless you.
Bless
Sorry.
you.
I tried to like keep it in. Okay, continue. My bad.
It's all right. And Isaac was the guy for me. So I've known him over 10 years now, and I approached him with the idea. And he said, yeah, he got the vision, and we just started recording, and we've hit it off from then. I think the secret to a podcast success is just being able to have a conversation with the other person, that it's not so obvious that you are two co-hosts or multiple co-hosts just lumped together, that you have some sort of natural chemistry like you all have. And yeah, that's why.
Stop it.
And that's, yeah, I think for people who like the Streamcast podcast, that's mainly why we've been friends for a very long time, and we could just talk about anything.
Yeah, and I think that comes across really, really easily on your guys' show. Like you can feel the chemistry between you guys, and you can feel how, like, when I'm listening to the show, it really does feel like I'm just like sitting at a table listening to friends have a conversation about something. So like that really comes across well, and it's one of my favorite things about your podcast. Darren, I'll go to you next. What I want to ask you is, we talked about starting a podcast for quite a long time. From the beginning, like before we even started to where we are now, what are some of the biggest things that you kind of have either gone with or gone against your expectations? Like, is this how you thought things would go? Is this how you kind of envisioned our show being? Like, what are some of the ways that from when we started to where we are now, things that have gone along your expectations and a couple things that haven't?
Well, so I'd like to answer your question first by asking Andy one more question.
Okay, fine.
Andy,
Okay.
how long have you actually known each other? At the
As
Streamcast?
in me and Isaac. Oh,
Yeah,
everyone at
well,
Streamcast?
everyone, yeah.
So Troy and Isaac I've known for over 10 years. We met at the same place. We went to the same college.
Nice.
And Akira, the latest person to join, I've known for 2 years now, I want to say. Yeah, I think it's 2 years.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah, and okay, so then because you've known each other, I think a lot of chemistry of that comes because you're so comfortable and you've known them for so many years, right?
Yeah.
So what I'd say to Matt is basically the same kind of thing. Whereas one of my things that I that kind of went along with my expectations is the chemistry did kind of come naturally, at least between me and Matt, because we've known each other for like 15 years or something like that. I was shocked at how quickly I think the chemistry worked between like me and Destiny, knowing that I only knew you, Destiny, for like 4 months or something like that.
I think we had met like maybe 3 times. Not that many times.
No.
Yeah.
So, but I was really like, I think chemistry is something that has to kind of come naturally. It's pretty easy to tell quickly whether someone's going to click or not. But one of the things that I didn't expect is because like Matt and I had, when we were kids, would talk about games for hours and hours and hours. And I thought that kind of conversation would translate just directly to podcasting format. And it kind of doesn't. Like as soon as you put a camera or a microphone in front of somebody, like the conversation changes completely. And the way you talk is not necessarily the same way that you talk in a normal conversation. So I think it took a while to try and separate myself from that and go back to talking like a normal goddamn human being. And even that, I don't think like comes naturally all the time. And sometimes things will be forced and stuff because you're like trying to be funny. But yeah, for me, it's definitely like the conversation both came naturally and also was something that you still have to work on, surprisingly.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point because, like, I think you're right. We always talk about like, oh, we should just have a microphone on while we're having a conversation, but that's not engaging for people. Like, it's equal parts chemistry and showmanship. Like, you have to have both of them for it to kind of work. And Destiny, I'll go to you next. I have a question for you. You had just literally a few days ago gone back to our first episode, and now we're on episode 93. What are some of the differences that you could tell from the beginning to where we are now?
I think we have more of a format now, but I'm just I'm just gonna be honest. I love our first podcast. Like I think they were the most fun. Not that now is not fun, but if you go back, like we were like, yeah, let's have a couple of drinks while we're doing the podcast. Like I would get drunk on some of that.
One of my favorite Destiny moments was when Destiny showed up like 4 drinks in to my apartment to do the podcast, and Darren was talking about something, and Destiny would just look at him like usually if like one of us are talking something and one of us isn't interested or if we're like disagreeing or something, we hide it well. But at that point, Destiny was like 4 drinks in, and she was just looking at him, she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I think we were going off on some stupid tangent. Like it wasn't anything actually serious, but like her face was just, oh, I wish we had video at that point.
But I think like I never had that problem that you guys are talking about or the issue. I've just always been myself on
Yeah,
the
you
podcast.
have. I'm pretty
Like,
impressed, and I don't know how you do that, but like from day one, I think you're the way you talked on podcasts and off camera and everything was identical, and I'm like, I don't know how you do
yeah, I'm just the same. Like what you see is what you get. One of the things I think that has gotten a lot better is like me and Darren's chemistry, because we used to
Yeah.
butt heads a lot, and I think that's because we were still getting to know each other. So
Yeah.
he would sometimes say something and I would get offended by it because I didn't understand like the context of how he was saying it, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So we used to fight a lot more, and Matt would like try to mediate, but I'm the type of person like when I say something, I'm gonna say it. So but I think now it's a lot more like cohesive. Like we understand each other a lot better, and so
Mhm.
like there's less butting heads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very true. Andy, what I want to ask you next then is you mentioned Akira has just joined the show in the last couple of years, right? How did you guys come about with the idea of adding a new person? Was it like a natural thing? Were you looking for someone, or did you meet her and she was like, oh crap, she would be a great fit? Like, how did that kind of come about for taking 3 established friends and adding somebody new to it?
Yeah, that was an interesting conversation. It's actually funny. So we had agreed to work with another great UK platform actually called Mayamada.
Mhm.
So they host gaming events, but very family friendly oriented. And we were presenting a tournament or two there, and I was late to that tournament. I was late to the event. When I arrived, Isaac and Troy told me, "Oh yeah, Kira's part of the Streamcast now," and that was it. So I looked at Isaac and I looked at Troy, and then I looked at Isaac again, and then I looked at Akira, and I said, "Okay, this is cool." That was it. That is
This
that
is
is the
fine.
truth.
No way.
But
So how did that come about?
Um, so we've actually worked with Akira in the past. So in that same year, we did a Comic-Con video together, and that is on our YouTube actually, where we interviewed people in cosplay who were comfortable enough to be on camera, and we kind of blended the lines between in character of who they were and just general questions as in how long did it take you to make this costume. I remember we interviewed a Robin, and he basically said something like his uncle Alfred left him the costumes or something, and it took me a second to get it. I was like, "Oh right, that's a nice uncle," and then the penny dropped. So yeah, we had a lot of fun doing that, and Akira was so helpful on that day. So I think that's where the idea came. Of
Mhm.
course, we kind of just we just said, "Oh yeah, Akira was great. It would be great to work with her again," and then kind of left it. And then 5 or 6 months later, she's part of the team without my permission. So
They're like, this guy is late again. Are you usually late? Are you the one who's normally late?
Yes.
Yes.
it's usually a competition between Isaac and myself who's going to be most late. It's normal for our friends to bet on which one of us is going to be most late. I have changed that since lockdown became a thing.
Nice. Okay. That's
Guys, I'm
awesome.
so sorry, my phone is ringing.
Oh,
Can
I
you
can
hear
barely
that?
hear it.
Okay,
Well,
sorry
it's-
about that.
It's okay. Well, that's awesome. So then, and how have things changed since she joined the show?
Yeah, well, as I said, I didn't know she was going to be a part of the team, but I wouldn't change a thing. She has been amazing. She's been an absolute positive and absolute asset to the team. I think the main thing that she brings to the show is her perspective is so different to ours,
Mm-hmm.
and she says things, and when we deep them, it's like, yeah, she's right. But because we're so similar, the rest of us, because we've known each other, we've grown up in the same environment. It's not quite a bubble, but we tend to align our thoughts and opinions quite often. So it is quite interesting to have someone just go, actually, no, that doesn't make sense. Actually, no, that's dumb. And I like that. I think,
That's what I do.
I was gonna
That's
say, yeah,
awesome.
I
So
completely agree with that because, yeah, Destiny. Matt and I are very, very similar minded. If we didn't have Destiny, I don't think our show would be as interesting because it would just be two guys agreeing with each other for like 90 minutes. And you need someone to have some kind of differing opinion to cause an interesting conversation. And guess what, guys? maybe it's good that someone's just negative a lot to give the other opinion that maybe this game isn't so
Wow.
good.
Let's not make this about you, okay?
Yeah, you started off by
This is
complimenting
about
Destiny,
Guts.
and then took a wild left turn to complimenting yourself. You pulled a Yui right quick and was like, Destiny's awesome, but I am negative.
But
What?
I really like that, like, you have a female on your podcast, because like I feel like I can relate, because like when Matt asked me to be on, it was kind of like he took me out to eat, and then so I didn't expect, he was like, man, I really want to talk to you about something important, and I'm thinking like, man, this has to do with work, like some shit came up, whatever. And so like he's like, so we're like eating, and he's like, so like, you know, so me and Darren want to start this podcast, and like we'd really like to have you on it, right? And I was like, what kind of podcast?
I mean,
And he
that's
was
a
like,
good
oh,
first
it's
question.
about
Right.
gaming and mental health. And I was like, I don't play games like you guys play games, because they're like play games. I'm more like a casual gamer, right?
Mhm.
But like it still worked out. Like he was like really nervous to ask me, which I thought was really funny. But I come off like a bitch sometimes, so that makes sense.
I wasn't nervous. I was nervous because like I'd been thinking about starting the show for a while, and there was something that was missing every time that Darren and I had a conversation about it. Like there was something that was just like, we should do it. Yeah. And then but once we met and we got closer, I was kind of like, that's it. That is
It's
the
the
missing piece.
destiny factor.
It's
Yeah.
literally destiny. On both literally and figuratively. And I'll never forget walking out of that. We split up Destiny, and I called Darren. And I was like, Darren, she said no, and he was like, really, man? I was like, nah, I'm just fucking around. But, and he was like, I really believed you, and I was like, oh well, no, she's down. And then yeah, we kind of ran from there. Andy, what I want to ask you next then is what were some of the biggest obstacles that you guys had starting out? Like, what were some of the things that you found yourself like, oh crap, this is not as easy as I thought it would be, or something unexpected that became a challenge? What were some of your biggest hurdles getting into the game?
So I think the biggest hurdle to us has been actually starting. I don't know if I can call it anxiety, but I get worried about a lot of stuff, and putting myself out there, whether it be my face or my voice or my skills or lack thereof. I was just very afraid of putting something out there that was me. Like, I'm accountable for that. If this fails, I fail. If it succeeds, I succeed. So yeah, I think the journey between an idea and it being actualized is very, very far. And yeah, it took a while.
So what was the
Yeah.
thing that gave you that push to kind of get over that hump? Because I empathize entirely. I had the same issue. I struggle with depression and anxiety, and like I get in my head so badly so often. And just like you said, it's kind of like, for me leading into it was like, that's the dream. I don't want to lose that if I fail at doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that dream goes away if it's my fault that it didn't work. So what was it that kind of gave you that push to finally start?
So Isaac and I played God of War 2018 around
Nice.
the same time, finished it around the same time, and we were just talking about it for hours. Sometimes we'd have entire conversations for like a whole day, and it would just be God of War. We haven't even asked, how our parents are doing. Like, we're just talking about that game. And I think that was it, when I was like, this is too good to not go out. So yeah, that was what sparked it. Bought a mic, went to his, and we recorded the episode. It was too long, so it didn't actually go out. But that was it. That was the concept. And from then I was like, I think this can work.
I think that's so interesting that it was the game that kind of started you there. You know what I mean? Like it had such an impact on you that you were like, all right, we're going to do it. We're finally going to do it. And that's amazing. Cause I think like I said, for us, I think it truly was destiny. Cause I was kind of like, do you want to do this? She's like, yeah, when do you want to start? I'm like, I don't know, in like a month or something. And she's like, no, let's do it this week. And I was like, all right. I was like, all right, we're okay. But yeah, so that's amazing, and good on you, man. And like, seriously, your energy and the way that you communicate and the way that you come off,
you are so honest and so earnest, and like it's so easy to like you. So like, and
Yeah.
I
Thank
know
you.
it's not always easy to hear that, or it's not always easy to like actually let it in. But I want to tell you, man, like the work that you guys do is phenomenal, and you as yourself are a fantastic host, and the way that you come off is just it it comforts me hearing your voice, as weird as that might sound. I like again, like I'm trying to say this without being weird
I
about
told
it, but
you he's
also
a stalker.
yeah.
Watch out.
you're fucking awesome, man. So keep doing it.
I
Seriously.
really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Oh, no
I'm
worries,
always
man.
excited to see other Black creatives like doing their thing. So I'm like really happy that like you're doing the same thing that we're doing, you know? Because I wasn't really into podcasts. I think the only podcast I listened to was like that white guy who I don't think is funny, but he was part of The Office, the original Office.
Ricky
What's his
Gervais?
name? Yes. I watched
Okay.
it because it was on YouTube and it was animated. That's the only thing I've ever watched. But like I've been like introduced to so many different podcasts, and like what a weird thing is that most of the podcasts that I've been introduced to through us have been Black creators.
Oh,
So like I'm just like super excited like just to listen to other people who look like me talking about things that I enjoy as well. So yeah, keep doing what you're doing.
thank you. I appreciate that. I also want to say that I checked out the pods where you spoke about the Black Lives Matter, and Destiny, your passion and your just energy on those
Thank
pods.
you.
Yeah, those will never leave my mind. So yeah, those are my
Thanks.
absolute highlights of you guys.
Yeah, those were some of our best episodes for sure. Darren, what I want to ask you is to kind of round out this conversation, and I'm going to ask everybody this question, but I want to start with you, Alfie. If you could give some tips or some advice to somebody who's looking to get into podcasting, into YouTubing, into Twitch, into any sort of creative work, what are some either words of encouragement or tips, or what can you say to the people who are looking to start? Because, you know, as Andy said, the journey from idea to starting is difficult, right?
So before I answer, I'm going to take a page from my last question because I'm really curious and I want to know from Andy, and this might influence my answer if he already says what I was going to say. But we're both doing podcasts that we're trying to grow our base right now. We're trying to gain subscribers and stuff. And one of the things that I think a lot of people don't think about when they're creating their podcasts or something is the advertising aspect of it. The self-promotion aspect of it. So what do you think has been like the hardest part about that self-promotion? What's been like the biggest hurdle to like trying to just get your name out there? How hard has it been to break into the scene?
I think it's been difficult. Other people say it hasn't been, but I am an awful self-promoter. So one of the millions of group chats I'm in, I promoted one of my friend's podcasts, and he got so much attention from it, and I couldn't do the same thing for my own. So I'm I'm getting better at self promotion, for a number of reasons, but yeah, I'm really bad at self promotion. Yeah, I think I answered your question.
Yeah,
It is
really
that's
tough.
I mean that's yeah, it's really tough, and I'm thankful that I feel kind of bad because I feel like I mean I have to give a shout out to Matt because he does like a lot of the promotion and reaching out to different people. Like he reached out to you, Andy. He does a lot of the people that like outreach, trying to get people on the show, get people noticed. I am someone who does not have much of a social media presence, unfortunately by design, because of the career path that I want to go towards. I think it's in my best interest to have less of a social media presence, assuming, I mean, but that's my backup though, because we're going to become so successful that this will be my main job eventually. But I think if I was going to give someone a tip, I'd be like, look into that self-promotion aspect, look up maybe some courses or some ideas on trying to do like search engine optimization and promotion, because like you can make as good of a podcast as you want and it could be the best podcast in the world, but if no one's listening to it, it doesn't really matter. And that's the unfortunate like reality. It's like I love doing this because I mean I'm doing this for myself. I genuinely enjoy doing it, and I love talking about these topics because I'm passionate about it. But yeah, like there's a lot of luck involved with getting people to listen, and there's a lot of footwork that you have to put in to get people to notice. And you're gonna have to just, like, if you're afraid of bragging, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to brag. You're gonna have to, like, prove to everyone that you're the best.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite
Yeah.
ways that we've been promoting is Destiny's dating app scheme, where she's on dating apps and all she does is plug the podcast. I love it.
That's
hustle and
genius.
grind. Right?
Oh my, what apps are you using?
Coffee Meets Bagel and Bumble. Like, guys will message me and I'll be like, yeah, like, I'm on a podcast. They're like, oh, like, give me the, like, let me see, because guys are creepy and they want to, like, look at you and, like, hear you, right? So, like, you just give them that, and then, like,
But not the ones who are currently listening, because that have come through coffee. You guys are lovely. Keep listening. It's the other guys that only
Matt's a
listen for a minute and
businessman.
left.
Yeah,
that's right. It's the
Matt
other
is totally a
guys who
businessman.
don't subscribe.
yeah, exactly.
It's
Matt-
the other guys who don't subscribe and share the podcast with their friends. You're the creepy ones.
Yeah. Destiny, same question. What would you tell somebody who's new and trying to start?
I think you need a variety of personalities to make things interesting. You definitely need somebody who's extroverted and willing to be, like, talk to everybody, because me and Darren aren't. Like, I would say, like, the tier goes Matt, then me, and then Darren, because I'm, like, really introverted, actually. Like, I have a webcomic and I never plug it.
Which is what, by the way? What's your webcomic?
Pudding and Flan.
Thank you.
Anyways, so I think the fact that Matt is, like, always so excited and, like, he just has this energy, like, I just kind of, like, piggyback off of him on Twitter. Like, he'll post stuff and I'll just be like, retweet, yeah, what he said. So yeah, I think you have to have somebody who's, like, really excitable to be part of it, like somebody who's not afraid to go out there and network, and just have different personalities. Otherwise, you're all talking about the same things, and if you all have, like what Darren said, if you all have the same opinions and you're agreeing all the time, that's boring as fuck. So yeah, different people, and be friends. At least know that you're compatible, because if you're not friends, then it's not going to last long, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Andy, what about you? What are your final words to wrap this conversation up? If somebody's looking to start, how do they do that?
Well, the simplest advice I could give is just start. Just get out there, no matter what is holding you back, what you think is holding you back, whether it's money or time. You can make the time. Podcasts can be 10 minutes long. They can be 2 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a mic. A mic obviously makes you sound better, but you can record from your phone. Anchor's a great app. You can record and put out the podcast just on Anchor.
Yeah.
You have all the skills, all the resources that you need to be out there, to put yourself out there. So don't let anything hold you back. I think if you have the idea for a podcast, it's probably for a good reason. You could probably talk. And I think harness that. Don't listen to people who say the market is saturated or anything like that, because while there are a lot of people doing things and some of them are doing the exact same stuff you are doing, there's always room for you. So just find your niche. I think come with a game plan, whether it's, a general podcast about life or a gaming podcast or something about books. Like, there is always room for your ideas.
Mm-hmm. I love that, because that was one of the
Yeah.
things that I struggled with getting into this, was like, there's so many video game podcasts. There's so many ways to do this. But then, and I don't remember where this quote came from, but I remember hearing it or seeing it. And it was just basically like, there's always room for another good one. You know what I mean? Regardless of how many are there, there's always room for another good one. Right. And if I could add anything onto that, learn SEO, because YouTube SEO, especially if you're trying to get through YouTube, is so important. And I was doing it wrong for so long. It took me months to realize that, like, me just typing shit in and hoping that somebody's going to search for that is not the way that it works, right? Something that I started doing a few months back, and we saw a bump in our videos, was literally have your screen up for whatever video you're putting up and pull up a separate YouTube screen and start typing in the first couple letters of whatever you're talking about and pull from that list, because that's usually what's trending. That's usually what people are searching for, right? So if I search video, and I'll see the first 5 that pops up, video game, right? And do it that way, because there's a lot of different ways that you can pull from that. And like Andy said, there's so many ways to start, and that was something that like I said, for myself as well, the promotion was not something that came naturally. All of that is something that you really have to push yourself to do. And some days, if you don't want to do it, that's fine. You know what I mean? You can't be out there grinding constantly. If you need a day, if you need your space, take it. Because that's something about our show that we've always said is like, if you're having a bad mental health day, if you're not feeling well, if you're whatever, unless there's something insanely important going on, which most of the time, it's okay. Take a break, take a step back, and take time for yourself, and then get out there and get it all over again, because it's okay. There's always room for one more good one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's jump into some news. We have a couple different news stories we're going to be talking about today. The first one coming from IGN, and I forgot to pull the person who wrote it. 1 second. Palia is a gorgeous game that was just announced. It has very heavy Stardew Valley MMO mixed with World of Warcraft vibes. This is coming from Kat Bailey. There we go. Singularity 6 announced today that they are working on Palia, a new MMO that is equal parts Stardew Valley and World of Warcraft. Described as massively multiplayer community sim, it will bring players together to revive a quaint village while working to solve an evolving mystery. Kat goes on to say more about the game, so go check out their article. But they basically talk about how like you can date, which like one of my favorite things in video games. You can date other things. You can work with other people to kind of make your community. And as soon as I saw this, I was like, man, this is a Destiny-ass game.
It is like, it's so me. Like when you showed me, I was like, yes.
What did you think about the trailer, D?
When I first saw the trailer, I thought like they directly pulled from like Immortal Phoenix Rising. Like it looks like that world, but you're just like in a village, which Darren still hasn't played, but I hope he'll play someday.
Eventually.
But
Who
yeah,
knows?
who knows? But I love like sandbox type survival games. I love the fact that like you can like build your own place, and then I saw you can like decorate your house and shit. Like all those mundane things that you do in real life, I just want to do it in a game, but not Sims, because Sims is really boring.
Yeah, in Sims, you're going to have to pay like $900 to get that full
Yeah,
game
it's
with all their-
ridiculous. Okay, like, look, I'm just going to go on a mini rant. I just don't understand Sims. I don't understand. Like, you have a house, and then you have to go to work. I'm like, these are things you already have to do. Why do you want to replicate it in a game? So, okay, that's it. That's the end of my rant.
I have a good friend who is a diehard Sims fan. I'll see if she'll come on, and then you guys can have a conversation about Sims.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, I'd love that.
She's going to hate me. Because I'm like, it doesn't make sense.
We'll see. Andy, what about you? Does this game do anything for you? Are you much for MMOs or this kind of style of, Stardew Valley-esque type of games?
Unfortunately not. I will be honest, this game doesn't look like it's for me, but it looks really beautiful, and I'm very happy for everyone who this game is for. I think it's going to be amazing. Like, there's nothing wrong with more Animal Crossings. It sounds like a banging game. It's a great concept.
Yeah, especially adding in that MMO stylings. Darren, what about you? Does this do anything for you at all?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Andy. It's not really my kind of game either, but what I will say is I'm happy to see an MMO that's trying something different other than the standard battle MMO combat that you normally have. I think an MMO based around like farming and like mindfulness is actually like a super cool idea, even if I guess there's probably gonna be some combat in it to a degree. Never actually watched the trailer, gonna be honest, so I don't know. I just read the description.
I love how he's like giving details. And he's like, actually, I didn't see that shit. But,
That could be making
like I'm
sense.
hoping that's what's going to be in the game.
Based off of the words you said, this is what I think it is.
At least I'm honest, okay? I'm honest.
Yeah.
I admit when I haven't seen something.
Which is the polar opposite, and I should have put this in the news, but I'm just very quickly. There was a trailer going around this past weekend about a monster catching game with guns, and you can actually pick up the creatures and use them to like block bullets and stuff. It looks ridiculous. I'm going to put that in the show notes. We're not going to talk about it too much now because your faces was
It's
exactly
called
what I was
Pocket
doing watching
Pair.
this. Thank you.
Pocket
Does
Pair.
it kill the animals?
We don't know. They have like literal trailers of footage with like the Pokemon-esque creatures making weapons with sad looks on their faces.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and
Is it
it's not just like they're
horrifying?
making like goofy sci-fi weapons. It's like a bunch of Pokemon-looking creatures on an AK-47 assembly line. Like, it's weird as hell.
Yeah, and they pick up this little sheep-looking creature, and it's just getting shot, and it's like crying as it's getting shot. But the graphics are like bright and cartoony. I have never I looked at the game and I was like, I can't understand.
I mean,
what's
like,
happening.
that's kind of genius because I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why I'm smiling. I feel like awkward.
It's
Yeah,
hilarious.
I
There's no
don't
gore. There's no
understand.
gore. There's no gore. Like, it's not
Yeah.
like gory.
Okay.
It's just weird.
I'm gonna post that
Huh.
trailer in the show notes. Please go check it out and let us know what you think in the comments, because I saw that game and I was like, I don't understand.
Right.
I don't understand. But moving on to our next
Sheepy.
real story, Guerrilla Collective 2021 Day 1, everything announced and revealed, coming from Adam Bankhurst over at IGN. Guerrilla Collective Day 1 happened over the weekend. We saw a ton of indie games that look really, really awesome. Destiny, Darren and I have talked about it on our post show, so you can go check out the YouTube video for that. But I wanted to give Andy an opportunity. Andy, did you catch Guerrilla Collective, or did you kind of go through the indie games that were there?
Unfortunately, not. I've been really bad with my calendar. I know when E3 is, just about. I know there's stuff before E3 and there's stuff after E3, but I don't have the exact date and time, so I missed that one, unfortunately.
I love that because if it wasn't for Matt, I would be the same level. Like, I wouldn't even know. I just opened my Google Calendar today for the first time in my life. So,
Well, I hope you
I
check
will
it
make
out.
sure to check it out. I will.
Yeah, because there was
Yeah.
a lot of cool indie games there. If you're curious about our thoughts, go check out the other video for our post show, or you can catch that on podcast services. We also put it up as a podcast. Our second last story that we're going to jump into, and this is what makes me very, very excited. Team Asobi officially announced as a PlayStation studio, reveals new logo. This is coming from Wesley LeBlanc over at IGN. Team Asobi has officially announced itself as the newest internal development studio with the PlayStation Studios family. I am so excited about this because I love Astrobot. The VR game was one of my favorite VR games, and the PlayStation 5 pack-in is phenomenal. So I'm really hoping that they're going to get the funds and the creative freedom to blow that out into a full game. They're so creative, and that's honestly probably, and I'm going to say it, the best 3D platformer since Super Mario. Like, the creativity that goes into it and the way that they design their levels, it's awesome. Yeah, Darren, I'm saying it and I'm sticking by it.
he is
Okay.
famous.
Period.
He's like,
Period.
You're allowed to say it.
He doesn't like the
you're
sound of
allowed
that.
to be wrong. That's what that sounded
Yep.
like.
free
You're allowed
country.
to be incorrect.
I, Dionysus, the god of wine and Matt's favorite Persona character, and the knower of all things 3D platforming, deem it so. Andy, are you an Astrobot guy? Have you played any of the PS5 pack-in or the VR games, or does this do anything for you?
So I haven't played. I think it's Astro's Playroom on the PS5.
Yes.
Haven't played that yet, but I've watched several people play it, and it looks so fun. So I get your shout as to it being the best 3D platformer since Super Mario. It looks so fun. It looks like it plays amazingly, and I really want to get my hands on it. It is on the backlog, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited for this news. Yeah, I think there's a whole market for this kind of game to reach. Like, I love Astrobot. It has such a cute look, and I think that this is great news for both sides.
Yeah, I agree. Darren, what about you?
Yeah, I think this is really, really good news for the franchise. I think that they'll, like, I'm not going to go out here and complain about Astrobot because, like, I know I've never personally played an Astrobot game, but everything I've seen from it looks good. I purchased Astrobot VR Mission because I've heard such good things. Haven't played it yet, but like, I think it's good for the franchise. But I am a little sad because Sony Japan Studio is a really, really creative studio that worked on some really unique projects. They did Gravity Rush, they did Siren,
Yep.
they did Tokyo Jungle. Like, Siren also was one of basically like the last true survival horror games from the classic era that like kind of died as a franchise. So I would be lying if I said I wasn't sad because like it basically seems that they're going to be Astrobot all the time. And it's a shame because I would have liked to see some more of what Japan Studio did.
Yeah,
Sorry
that
to be a
is the
bummer.
heartbreaking part of this. No, but you're entirely right. There is a lot of devs that got reshuffled around, and you know, with losing Japan Studio, it's been a mainstay for how many years now? Like, that does really suck. So you are right there.
Yeah.
Destiny, what about you? Does this news do anything for you?
No, but
Moving on. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh my god, I'm gonna fuck you up when I see you. All right, so I think the character design is really cute. That's what I was gonna say. I really like the character design. It's like Wally and Eve had a baby.
Yes. Yes, that's actually perfect.
That's what it reminds me of. But I've never played the game itself before. Like I'd like to check it out, but yeah. I'm gonna pull a Darren and be like, I haven't watched any of the trailers, so I don't actually know what I'm talking about. So
That's okay. You know what the character looks like, which is enough. And you're right, it is
Yeah.
adorable. I love the design. Our last big news story comes again from IGN from Matt T. M. Kim. PlayStation Studios boss details Ben's new game, PC releases, and more. PlayStation Studios boss Herman Hulst has given a new interview with the PlayStation blog where he offers new updates on the state of Sony's first-party game developers. This includes Ben Studios' work on a new original game and the studio's growing interest in PC gaming. So I'm going to go on and kind of summarize this, but basically, God of War 2, delayed until 2022. Shocker. Gran Turismo 7 and God of War are going to be cross-generational. They'll be on PS5 and PS4. Horizon Forbidden West is still planned for holiday 2021. And yes, they did say that Bend is working on a new IP that Days Gone, seemingly dead. They're done with that. They're moving on to something new. And of course, the most PlayStation way to give all this information, they threw it out in a blog post in a conversation with the boss rather than giving all of this the proper breath to actually have a new story. They were kind of like, oh, by the way, guys, God of War is delayed. But we got a lot of information there. Andy, what are your feelings about God of War being delayed? Is this something you saw coming, or is this something that caught you off guard a little bit?
Yeah, to be honest, this is something I did see coming, so I wasn't surprised or upset or anything. Yeah, when they didn't give a date or at least a month, I knew that this game wasn't coming out this year, which is fine. I think long gone are the days where we're like, I want this game now. I think we understand that the demands are very high of the devs, and they work very hard to give us a game that we want. So I am very happy to wait until whatever year it is, as as long as when it does come out, it's a great game. It's as good as the 2018 title.
Awesome. And then, so what do you want from a God of War 2? How do you take 2018's God of War and make it better or change it? What do you want to see out of a sequel?
Well, I know that the devs are going to make a much better game than I could ever imagine or in detail.
Right.
I would like to see a direct follow-on from the consequences of the first game, so I don't know how much I can talk about it because of spoilers and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, a lot of stuff happens. Kratos. I would like to see a lot of stuff play out because we saw a lot of hidden. They've given us driplets.
Some Easter
eggs.
eggs.
Yeah, they've drip fed us in the first game. So there's a lot of stuff that I would like to know answers to. Like Kratos leaves Atreus on his own for like 24 hours and then he kills everyone. Or was it him? So a lot of stuff like that I would like answers to. I would like to basically kill Thor and take Mjolnir because Kratos and Mjolnir sounds like an amazing idea. And I think that's
I didn't even consider that. That's awesome. I didn't even think about that.
That's what I want.
All right. Well, Santa Monica, give Andy a call because if you don't have Kratos getting Mjolnir, scrap it and start all over. Back to the drawing board. Delay that shit to 2024. Give me a hammer. Especially because, like, with the axe throwing, it already works.
Yeah, they've set this up already. Like it just works the same way. So I'm here for it.
I love that. Darren, from the same story, what do you think Bend is doing? Are you sad that Days Gone is gone? And what do you think Bend is working on?
I'm not sad at all. Holy crap. I think Days Gone was a waste of time. I tried sorry.
I love the honesty.
I think like I don't want
that is one of the most cutthroat things you've ever said on this podcast. Oh my god, I love it.
Because like by the time that Days Gone came out, we had already received so many zombie games, and it didn't seem like there was anything that unique about it other than you had a motorcycle. So like the amount of zombies you fought, I know was like a unique aspect, but it just seemed like kind of like an amalgam of every other zombie open world Sony style game we've had. And I can tell Bend is a talented studio. So I hope that whatever their next game is something that like can take use of their talents, because like the game's like well made. Days Gone was a well-made game. There wasn't like wrong with it technically, artistically, like visually, it looked really good. It's just like they just tried to submit a game in a dying genre, essentially.
Yeah.
So if they're working on a whole new IP, that's what would make me super, super excited. I think some people were like, they want SOCOM back. I mean, that'd be fine. I don't think I have anything. Or was it SOCOM that they did? Ben used to work on SOCOM.
No, Gorilla is rumored working a second team on SOCOM. That's the kind of present rumor.
I'm getting my rumors mixed up here. What was Ben doing before Days Gone?
Siphon Filter, Once Upon a Time.
That's what it was. I knew it was one of those like military style things, but Siphon Filter had like a sci-fi angle to it. I think. I'm just talking out my ass again. Go, Destiny. Do you have any opinions? Don't listen to me.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I can't follow you on it.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Destiny, I'll ask you then, as another huge God of War fan, what do you want to see out of the sequel?
So like I don't know how to talk about it without giving spoilers.
Okay,
right,
spoiler warning.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
All right. So like I kind of want to know, like I want them to like absolutely confirm like Atreus, like who he actually is. Like I want them to confirm it, because there were like kind of like Easter eggs as into who he actually is, like his real name, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want them to confirm that. And I do like the idea of like Kratos killing Thor, but then like they led into some idea where like he's gonna die, and he's like, it was like said a few times and like kind of like alluded to that he was gonna die. I don't want him to die.
Right.
Like, he's like daddy status. Like I need him not to die. And I hope that they continue like the same relationship. Like even if it's not with his son, like they continue that same kind of like relationship with the characters, because that's the reason why I love that one is my favorite out of all of the God of War games, just because of how they portrayed the characters and how they talk to each other. And one of my favorite things was like the fact when I forgot his name, like he's telling a story on the boat, and then when they pull over, he just kind of is like, all right, well, I'll finish when you guys get back. Like I just loved that because it just felt so natural and so realistic. So I hope they keep a lot of the same aspects, but there are things like that I don't want. I do not want Kratos to die. Like I'm kind of upset because they're like, he's a god and his son might kill him. I don't know. I don't want him to die though.
Yeah, I hope not. I would worry. I would be interested to see like a God of War 3 based off the reboot with like Atreus in the lead role or something. It'd be very interesting to see how that would.
I don't know if I'd want to play it if like Kratos wasn't a part of it. Like if they were like, I don't think they'll do this, but like if they were like to like end Kratos' story and like try to start a new series with it. I don't know if I'd want to play it because I'm so like committed to Daddy Kratos. Sorry.
I know. I feel ya. Okay, the last question that I'm going to ask everybody. I just want it yes or no. I need no explanation. Andy, I'm going to start with you. Is Horizon Forbidden West coming out this year?
Yes.
Darren?
No.
Destiny?
Because I have a bet riding on it, okay?
I said no explanations. Just tell me yes or no, Destiny. Is it coming out this year?
Yes.
Okay. And that brings us to the end of the show. I want to thank everybody so much.
I don't know. I said I don't know the first time. But then I said yes because he said yes.
No, that wasn't targeted at you, Destiny. That's targeted at Matt. I feel that was manufactured.
Matt, what are you doing?
I genuinely forgot about the bet, and it's because in this article they talk about it how it's still planned to come out this year. I honestly forgot about the bet, but now that I remembered about the bet, I'm happy that I asked. But anyways, I want to thank everybody so much for listening. We always appreciate your time. Andy, once again, thank you so much for joining us. And one more time, can you please plug all your stuff? Where can people find more of your amazing work?
Well, once again, thank you so much for having me. Streamcast is on YouTube, youtube.com/Streamcast. We're on Twitch, Streamcast TV. We are on Twitter and Instagram, Streamcast_, and you can listen to our podcast wherever you listen to yours. Spotify, Apple, Google. Just search Streamcast. You can't miss us.
And look for the dope logo because it looks fantastic.
I
We're
have
going
a question.
What?
Okay.
Okay, my question is, how did you come up with the name of your podcast?
Dreamcast and then stream
Ah,
podcast.
okay, but
so-
you're streaming.
Yeah,
Okay, clever. Okay, I'm
Thank
surprised
you.
you didn't ask that, Matt. Okay.
He said it in one of the last podcast episode. He actually
I think
explained it.
in the latest one.
Yeah, but I
Because
didn't
of
listen to
his
that one.
because of one of his favorite consoles of all time was the
Okay,
Dreamcast.
but I wanted people who are listening to our podcast to know why. Okay, is that all right? Are
That's
you guys
fair.
okay with that? All right.
That's
I get
fair.
it. I
That's
get it.
fair.
I'm gonna cut this last minute off the podcast. I'm just gonna have it end with you asking the question, and he'll be like, and then over. But everybody, keep it locked. We have so much content over the coming weeks. We got E3 Media Access, meaning we're going to be seeing games. We're going to be talking about a whole bunch of stuff. We have some amazing interviews lined up with a bunch of cool developers. So keep your eyes on this channel. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. Make sure you go find Streamcast. And again, please go watch Mr. Midas' stuff. Hit that like and sub button for him as well. He's an amazing, amazing person, and we want him to get better quickly. So, on behalf of Burnout, on behalf of Andy from Streamcast, peace out.
Deuces.
Where are they
I love
combining?
this.
Perfect. Where
like,
are they combining?
What-
What did you say?
This isn't like a
What are you
cat dog
talking
situation. We're not like
about?
gluing them
So-
together.